Well, we are here at Preaching in the Capitol with Dr. Robert Norris, and we are delighted to have you with us this week to talk about expositional preaching, what it is, what it isn't. Can you just introduce yourself briefly to our listeners? What do you know about preaching?
I'm a pastor. I have been at Fourth Presbyterian Church for 27 years. Before that, I was 3 years at Hollywood, 4 years in London. And since I was converted at 14, since the age of 15, I've been preaching. The man who led me to Christ had a heart attack in a presbytery meeting, and he asked me if I would fill in for him. And so I've preached through the Welsh valleys. I still have the first sermon I ever preached that guides me as to the way I should never do it ever again. But I've been a preacher, and that's all I can say about it.
On that topic of that first sermon, what did you write on? What did you do wrong? Since the title is what it is and what it isn't, what did you do wrong in your first sermon?
What I did was to choose a character, Philip. It's sad that I can still remember that. And 3 points, because 3 different references in John's Gospel outlining Philip's ministry, his call, his continuance, his evangelism, and his love for people. And I followed that theme all the way through. It was a 15-year-old sermon attempt. I still have the original notes that I used then, but not with any great sense of pride, but this is where I've traveled from.
But it sounds biblical.
It was that. Sermon. I was committed to the Scripture, I was committed to try and understand the Scripture, and I was committed to trying to understand the nature of the gospel in that. The best that a 15-year-old who had been a Christian for a year and a half, but it was a good first attempt, but it was a first attempt.